is a brief overview for the second semester for Earth Science. In Earth Science 2, in the spring semester, we talk about 3 main topics. We talk about geologic time. It takes us about 2 weeks or so to get through the geologic time unit. We're looking at the history of the planet and how we know how old things are and when things occurred and stuff like that. The second topic is weather and climate. So we're going to look at the components of what makes up weather, and then we'll look at how long-term weather determines our climate. We're going to talk about weather systems and storms and hurricanes and tornadoes and all that kind of weather phenomena. And then in the fourth quarter, we're going to talk about astronomy. So we start out at the beginning. We start with the origins of the universe. We go through how is the solar system created. We look at stars and how are stars created and what actually makes it a star. We go through the life cycle of a star. We'll talk a little bit about moons. We'll talk about our solar system and the planets in our solar system. We'll talk about moons and specifically how the moon influences things that happen here on Earth. And then we'll end up with technology and how has space exploration really changed technology and how has that changed our lives. So those are our major concepts. Our class format is going to be pretty much the same as it was last semester. We'll have our Canvas, we'll have our modules in Canvas. There are some changes and I'll talk about those in just a moment. But you will have Ms. Bigelow in the classroom this semester again, and your teachers of record are available to you by email predominantly. So the main changes come in the grading for this semester. So this semester there will be 1,000 points total in the semester. 700 points are the 18-week grade, so it's just the normal assignments and regular quizzes and tests and labs and those sorts of things. The remaining 300 points are our final exam category, and once again it will be broken by your written final and your multiple choice final. The grades are not going to be weighted with the exception of the final exam because the final exams don't actually come out to 50 and 150, and so those will be weighted. But the rest of the points, if it says that it's a 10-point assignment, any 10-point assignment is worth the same as another 10-point assignment. So in the past, you may have seen where like labs are worth this % of your grade and tests are worth this % of your grade, and that's not how it's going to be done here. It's just straight points. So the other big difference is that if an assignment has points in Canvas, then it's going to count in your grade book, in your final grade. So I think that was a little confusing last semester where what was formative and what was summative. And we know that only summatives go into the grade book. So everything that's there counts. So you want to make sure that you're doing all your work because if you're not doing the formative assignments, then you are not going to be able to do those summative assignments. Now, one question I'm sure you guys will have, because you're going to see this in the module, is that Canvas, the introduction to Canvas. If you are new to the class this semester, then you really need to do the introductory module just so you know how to move around in Canvas and how to do things. If you did that intro unit last semester, then you don't have to do it again. As far as our expectations for you, first and foremost, we expect you to do all your work. We expect you to do all of the formative assignments, and we expect you to do all the summative assignments. If you're not doing all the assignments, then you will not be able to pass the class. There's a number of you who I think kind of ran into this a little bit last semester. You were missing a lot of assignments. And if you're not doing it, then you're not exposed to the content. The same thing with paying attention to the instructional videos. If you're not listening to it, if you're not taking notes, then you're not going to know what the tests are on. And there's a lot of test points. 30% of the grade comes out of test points. And so you want to make sure that you're paying attention to those videos, that you're taking notes. The notes are your study guide for the test. So you want to make sure that you're participating in everything. If you don't take notes, then on some of these things you're not going to be able to do the assignment because the assignment refers back to the notes and back to the activities that were done during the instructional time. So you want to make sure you're doing all of that. When you do have an assignment, please make sure that you read the rubric. The assignment is on the top, and then down below it is where the rubric is. That is how you will be scored. None of these things are completion. It's not just, I did it, I get all the points. You need to make sure that you're following the rubric and that you're including everything that's in there because everything that's in the assignment is in the rubric. So you want to make sure you're doing everything. You need to make sure that you're on task while you're here in class, that you're getting your work done. The units and the lessons are designed that you should be able to finish everything here in class. If you're present in class and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in class, you shouldn't have a lot of homework or a lot of outside stuff to do. It's when you don't do what you're supposed to do in class that those things happen. Most of you did okay on your attendance, but we had a few who were absent an awful lot. When you're absent a lot, it's really hard to get caught up, and then it falls on you. Everything is in Canvas. So if you're absent for days, you need to look at your calendar, and then you need to go do those assignments in Canvas. You need to watch the videos, take the notes, and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to come back and ask, hey, Miss Bigelow, what did we do yesterday? You should already know that and be able to do it. You need to make sure you're asking questions if you don't understand. And don't ask the question of, well, I just don't get any of it. Please be specific when you're with your instructor. If there's something you don't understand, be specific. I don't understand how this happens, or I don't understand this part. You need to narrow it down, because saying I don't understand anything is a bit too broad for us to be able to answer a question that's related to that. We're here to help you. Mrs. Bigelow is here to help you. Your teacher of record is here to help you. So please make sure you take advantage of the opportunities that you have here in class.